You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Raiders, but more specifically, we're going to talk about a little Tom Brady. We're going to talk a little Tom Brady. I did a video yesterday morning where Tom Brady basically crushed the NFL for its product now, calling the league mediocre, calling the fact that everything has been so skewed in an offensive direction. And keep in mind, he's the NFL GOAT of quarterbacks. He has come out, crushed the NFL for the way they have decided to proceed with things, overly cautious, and in turn, it's hurting the game. It's hurting the product. So he come out and made those comments, but Ben Volen of, I believe, the Boston Globe answered Brady back and had a little thing where he drew the Raiders into this. Now, for full disclosure, do I believe that Tom Brady is making a comeback this year? No, I don't. If Tom Brady was going to make a comeback this year, I think it would have already been done. I think there were opportunities all over the place. There's certainly been opportunities in the last 3 weeks, you know. He could have came back to the Browns. He could have came back to what looks like a pretty good Vikings team that's about to get Justin Jefferson back. And there is an interesting team he could come back to, which is the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we know all kinds of connections at this point between Tom Brady and the Las Vegas Raiders. We know he is trying to buy a minority ownership stake. The NFL is poo-pooing that because he's getting a big discount from his boy, Mark Davis, who owns the Raiders. And he owns a piece of, actually, the Las Vegas Aces, too. The WNBA team that nobody cares about, that Mark Davis owns. I think they're the champions. Trust us, we're not covering the WNBA on this channel. We might do that on the big channel, but not this channel. So let's get to this. It is sort of interesting when you think about what's on this team from an offensive talent standpoint. Let's just say this. This is a New England offense they're running, okay? They promoted the quarterbacks coach. He is now offensive coordinator now that Josh McDaniels and his and Lombardi is out and those guys, but they're still running New England principles here. It's certainly an offense that Tom Brady is very familiar with. And I will say this, it's interesting because you look at the weapons on this team. Josh Jacobs, Michael Mayer, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams. Could Tom Brady score 27 to 33 points a game with this offense, with this talent? I don't know if he could this late in the season come in and knock the rust off, but boy, things would get interesting in Las Vegas. I mean, things are already interesting in Las Vegas, but they're 5-6, and he certainly would raise the level of quarterback play there over Garoppolo, over Aidan O'Connell. The problem is you're not knowing what your young quarterback's going to do at that point. So Ben Volen of the Boston Globe floated the idea of Tom Brady coming out of retirement. This was the Tom Brady video I played yesterday with him on Stephen A. Smith crushing the league. Ben Volen, who covers the Patriots, by the way, Brady could do his part by signing with the Raiders. Now, yeah, look, Ben Volen is obviously being pretty sarcastic, but he was talking about the level of play in the league, and no matter what, Tom Brady is obviously going to up the ante when it comes to actual quarterback play in the league, even though he's been out the majority of the season. Do I think he can come in and be better than at least 10 to 12 Well, there's 11 backups about to play, so he'd be better than all 11 of those, right? He'd be better than Mac Jones. He'd be better than Deshaun Watson. He'd be better than all these folks, okay? There'd be a lot of them. You'd have to start getting into top 15 quarterback territory when you're talking about Tom Brady on a team. And frankly, the offensive weapons on the Raiders right now, they're better than the weapons he had on the Buccaneers last year. And frankly, they're arguably, I don't even know if they're arguably better than the weapons he had the year he won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. I mean, Josh Jacobs is obviously much better than Leonard Fournette. And Devontae Adams, well, at worst, 2 years ago, you could break even with Mike Evans there. Jacoby Myers, Chris Godwin, okay. Hunter Renfrow, okay. Tight end play, Michael Mayer certainly looks like he's one of these guys that could end up taking a superstar kind of step at tight end. I'm not too sure this Raiders team wouldn't score 25 to 30 to 35 points a game with Tom Brady right now. For the record, is he coming back? No, he's not. So this article came out right here, and it is about the idea that the Raiders are going to evaluate Aidan O'Connell, and then they will decide whether or not they need to draft a quarterback in next year's very deep NFL quarterback draft. You know, we always say these drafts are very deep. That 2020 draft was considered one of the deepest quarterback drafts ever. And now Mac Jones is looking at being benched. Trey Lance traded to the Cowboys, third string. Justin Fields, is flashing. It's literally 6 a.m. Is flashing right now, but he looks like he may lose his job ultimately with the Bears. Okay, so let's see. That leaves, Zach Wilson just finally got probably the last chance he'll ever get as a starter in the NFL, unless somebody can resurrect him somewhere else. There were considered 5 first-round quarterbacks in that draft. One of them looks solid. And Trevor Lawrence still does not look like a star. He looks solid, like a solid 12 to 16 quarterback in the NFL. And he was considered the best quarterback to be coming out since Andrew Luck. Think about that. That draft was considered akin to this draft. Now, there's a bunch of quarterbacks better than a bunch of the quarterbacks in this draft. All right. Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. It's a good draft with quarterbacks with significant college experience. I think the COVID mini camps, rookie camps, all that kind of stuff, the preseason not being there, I think it affected all of those 2020 quarterbacks coming out. They just didn't get the reps, all right, that you would have gotten. And I'm not sure why NFL teams have not thought about that or did not think about that when it came to drafting somebody like Trey Lance. Trey Lance should have never been drafted in the top 5 rounds. Never. I mean, there were just indications. I will never understand it. I'm a 49ers fan. I don't know what they thought they saw. But he hadn't played enough college ball to have been drafted. The point is, you get the point, okay? There is a 30-some percent, it's 33, 35, 30% success rate with quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Think about that. I mean, in the first round. So let's say 10 are drafted every 3 years. 3 become stars every 3 years out of 10. That's a lot of room for error there. A lot of room. And obviously setting your franchise back. So this is the AP. Interim coach Antonio Pierce wasn't willing to make any declarations Monday about whether Aidan O'Connell is Las Vegas quarterback of the future. But his actions the day before, when Pierce opted to play it safe at the end of the first half, suggested the Raiders most likely will be looking to draft a quarterback next year. Quote, "We'll have 6 more games left, so we'll find out in 6 more," Pierce said Monday. "And then we'll see what happens with AP in 2024. He's talking about himself there. The problem is O'Connell is capable of pulling out just enough victories, which he did in beating both New York teams in back-to-back weeks before losing over the weekend at Miami. That the Raiders 5-6 might not end up with a high enough selection next year to get one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. But it's clear the Raiders, who took O'Connell in the 4th round this year, need to upgrade the position if they are to compete in the AFC West, where the other 3 teams have better quarterbacks. The best, Patrick Mahomes, leads Kansas City in the Vegas on Sunday. Just look how Pierce handled the end of the first half against the Dolphins. The Raiders recovered a fumble at Miami's 32 with 58 seconds left. Plenty of time for the Raiders, trailing 14-10, to try to get into the end zone. Instead, Vegas called a run for Josh Jacobs, which picked up 3 yards and took 42 seconds off the clock. Then O'Connell threw 2 short, incomplete passes before Daniel Carlson kicked a field goal. Quote, "I just wanted to protect the young quarterback," Pierce said after the game. That's not exactly a vote of confidence, but O'Connell hasn't shown he's on the level of fellow rookie C.J. Stroud. Let's be real. No rookie quarterback has shown he's on the level of C.J. Stroud since Andrew Luck. I mean, look, nobody's seen or saw. Nobody saw this coming with C.J. Stroud. I mean, everybody thought he was a good prospect and had a chance to be a solid starter. You hoped. But nobody's seen this. I mean, C.J. Stroud looks like he is going to be a star and that the Texans got a quarterback for the next 15 years. You know, I mean, he looks really good. His level of calmness out there is something you just can't teach. So, you know, and the Raiders have coached him knowing that they have limited quarterback. They are limited at quarterback. He's been intercepted on 4.1% of his attempts, which is 3rd worst in the NFL, with teammate Jimmy Garoppolo last at 5.4%. O'Connell is 26th with 6.5 yards per pass. He threw 3 picks against the Dolphins and had a QB rating of 56. Quote, "We didn't lose the game because of Aidan." Let's get that straight. But Aidan does know he needs to take care of the ball. That's the quarterback's number 1 job. We'll get better at that. O'Connell is 2-2. Well, you guys know I always love to play this game, so let's just do this very quickly. Let's bring this good old schedule up, because that does make me want to look at the schedule and think about Tom Brady a second. Obviously, he wouldn't come back and play this weekend. I got to tell you, not to work any Raiders fans up, but you saw a look at that schedule right quick. Would Brady win out? I look at that schedule. He might win all but one of those games if Brady was playing quarterback. This team would make the playoffs, I think. I think they would win out and make the playoffs with Tom Brady. Could he take this team to an AFC championship game? I mean, let's be honest. The Chiefs aren't throwing up 35 points every week. That's interesting. And they, you know, it's a good environment. Las Vegas, the weather's good. Tom Brady's not coming back. But boy, did Tom Brady miss a chance not playing for this team? You know, we reported a couple of weeks ago that Tom Brady was originally supposed to quarterback this team under Josh McDaniels. Now, who knows what would have happened under Josh McDaniels. But when I look at the games they got left and I think about the idea that if Brady was just around and played like he did last year, this team offensively, in my opinion, it looks better than Tampa did last year. This team might have won 11-6, 12-5 with Tom Brady. Yikes. Man, if I'm a Raiders fan, I don't even want to think about that. Honestly, I don't. They could have won some real games with Tom, even at 45, 46 years old. Holy crap. Because the Raiders' offensive side of the ball, outside of quarterback, there's damn weapons everywhere. It's a good offensive roster It is. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.